Bird here from Chop Tees. Our summer super sale is now on. Grab up to 25% off selected tees and hats from Post Wrestling, WrestleNomics, The Lapsed Fan, Poisonrana, and more. Shipping is free and fast almost everywhere in the world. Just go to chopped-tees.com and grab a deal before the sale ends at midnight, July 7th.
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you could never really know what's up next.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Up Next. You found us at postwrestling.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Rest in peace to Google Podcasts, I heard. That might be
Google Podcasts.
I don't even know if that was a thing, but if you were used to using that.
I don't know. They're listening already. So what?
No, just like we're on the Post Wrestling feed.
We are on the Post Wrestling
but not
feed.
Anymore on Google Podcasts, allegedly. Apparently.
Were they paying us?
Probably.
No, fuck them.
Probably. Yeah.
Not saying Google on this show.
Yeah, I mean,
but I will say youtube.com/post wrestling. Hello, YouTube room.
Is anyone paying us for this?
youtube.com/post wrestling. Oh, yes.
Yeah, shout out Post Wrestling. We are here. It is Tuesday night. We're back on a Tuesday night with Davie and myself, both here, and we are gearing up for Money in the Bank weekend here in the Six, our hometown, Toronto, right here in our back door, literally just outside the window here, Scotiabank Arena. We'll be there in a few days for Money in the Bank. Well, I mean, they got a SmackDown, Money in the Bank, and Heatwave. So hopefully we get to see some of you people out here this weekend. So we got a lot of things to catch up on, including tonight's episode of NXT, the go-home show for Heatwave in the Six here. And it's been a Heatwave, sort of.
Definitely like about a week ago, incredibly hot here.
Everywhere.
A big heat wave. I'm sure we're going to get another one. I think it's looking pretty hot Money in the Bank day as well, although I don't trust Toronto weather reporters because it's never what they say it is. But yeah, going to be hot, going to be a heat wave. Got a lot going on. I've been away a couple of weeks, been still delivering the stuff on the patreon.com/Poisonrana. Just released our Was Next April 3rd NXT from 2014 with what we had Emma versus
Bailey?
Sasha Banks.
No.
Wait, what was the show?
Sasha, Emma, Corey Graves, Sami Zayn.
That's right, yes.
Neville and Brodus Clay are having a feud where Brodus was mad Xavier stole his music.
That's the one, yes.
And his girls. So the best thing Brodus Clay's ever done.
It was a good episode. We were very high on Brodus Clay on that.
It's only downhill from there.
Yeah, we had that. We released our Great American Bash 1999 review quite recently. We did our Family Matters review with B Detroit. But yeah, this is our first Up Next for a few weeks. My mummy Portman was in town.
That's right.
So I had a couple of weeks. She made it back to the homeland this morning.
Jolly old England.
Yes, we went to Newfoundland for a few days, but yeah, had a lovely time. But now back to talk about wrestling.
Excellent. Yes, we got to hang out with Mom.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't let it slip that you got a cleaner for the apartment. Siino was worried. I told him
you did let the fucking pot of grease or whatever fall all over the oven that we got the cleaner to clean though. So
the oven looked like a new place.
Yeah, it doesn't anymore. You've been back a day and it's
Well, our friends the other day were like, "Oh, David, wow, you did such a good job of the place. Didn't let it slip that you got to clean her." If she were to have pressed me, I don't know what I would have done though. I would have been like, yeah, he cleaned it, and then a smirk would have given away. But she was very nice to have over. Nice to see her. As she got me Daddy's sauce, the brown sauce for the Brits. They're gonna be like, "What? Why do you care about that?" But it's pretty good with steaks. So thanks, Mom Portman, for the Daddies. We're live tonight, but we will be live Sunday for Heatwave.
Yes, Heatwave will. Luckily, the Scotiabank Arena is very close to the BDE, so we'll be running on over whenever that finishes. Hopefully, going live. I'd like to think around like 30 minutes after the show. Like if we can make a quick escape.
Yeah, Google Maps says 7-minute walk from our apartment to the Scotia.
Yeah, so if we can get out, keep an eye. We'll be posting on socials when we're about to go live. Obviously, we don't know when NXT Heatwave will finish. It's a pay-per-view, a PLE. But we'll be up pretty soon after that to talk all about our thoughts.
Yes.
And I think Siino is going to join us for that one as well.
I have asked Siino Evil, John Siino, postwrestling.com, to join us. He is going to be staying with us Money in the Bank weekend. He's here on Thursday. And I figured, well, we're going to go to the show together. We live right here. We come over quickly, go live and record. So, again, follow the socials at Poisonrana.pod if you haven't already, the Facebook page, the group, etc. And we'll be going live right after the show. So join us. If you're not in the city, join us live here on the Post Wrestling feed, because we'll chat all about some Heatwave. We'll chat about Money in the Bank the whole weekend, I'm sure, and everything. But we will be back next Tuesday as well for a new Up Next and then kind of going on. So, but while we're on the topic of this weekend, if you are in the city or you are visiting Toronto for Money in the Bank and Heatwave or SmackDown or GCW or Sami Zayn comedy, whatever it is you're coming in for, we are having a post-wrestling / Poisonrana hangout at Wide Open on Spadina in Toronto from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. on the Saturday before Money in the Bank. It is a free hangout. We got drinks. You're going to have, espresso martinis?
Yeah, so an exclusive right now. It is the daytime. Many of you will be coming into town on the Friday. Might be going to SmackDown. Might be having a bit of a late night. You know what helps that? Some espresso Sokoa martinis.
Wow.
Some Bloodline Caesars.
Throw them up.
And we've got our classic Poisonrana cocktail, as well as the Blue Thunder Bomb.
Yes.
Come along for some cocktails at Wide Open. We'll be there from 2 till 6. It's absolutely free to come and attend. And be great to just hang out with you. We did this 5 years ago now, last time at Wide Open for
Takeover Tailgate.
Exactly. And we're doing it all again. Come along. It'll be great seeing as many of you as possible, even if you can just pop in and say hi. It's say about a 15-minute walk to the venue. Give or take.
Yeah, it's downtown. It's close to Queen Street West. It's near everything, near Chinatown. There's no food at this bar, but you're allowed to bring in food and you're allowed to go and eat and stuff like that. So, but we'll be drinking. So come buy some drinks, hang out with us. We won't say no to a shot, and we'll love to have some espresso martinis.
We're going to have some karaoke going on.
Yeah, for anyone who wants to sing some wrestling karaoke, definitely bring your singing voice, because I'm going to be playing some wrestling tunes. We got friends of the show, John, Brandon Thurston, Way, Benno from Grapple, Stephanie Chase as well. They're all going to be hanging out before the hangout. They're going to be recording their kind of media panel, if you will, that will be available down the line at some point. So that's still happening. They're going to record that, going to be chatting, and then they'll be hanging out with everybody. So again, if you're in the Toronto area or you're coming to Money in the Bank, the Saturday, 2 p.m. at Wide Open.
And don't worry, if you are following the Euros and you want to see England versus Switzerland or Netherlands versus Turkey in the Euros quarterfinals, we will have that on at the bar as well.
Yes, we'll be playing it. So for anyone who's like, but I got to watch the game before Money in the Bank, come watch it.
We'll have it on.
Yes, exactly. So looking forward to seeing some postmarks and some Poison pals out there, some NXT friends. And it's gonna be fun. There's lots of stuff going on in the city, so I'm sure everyone coming in. I feel like it's a little quiet on the Western Front this year compared to maybe last year with Forbidden Door. There was a lot more, I'd say, buzz for that show specifically. I think some of the matches from that show I'm still thinking about, but I feel like WWE still brings in a lot of like families and kind of more so a different audience than the AEW audience. I find it not so much of the
AEW audience.
Like, yeah. I find like more so like the older people still go to that show, and it's more so like still like the families at some of these shows. I find that still for WWE. So I'm assuming like Money in the Bank looks like it's sold pretty well and will be a packed venue. I know the prices were what was detouring people away, and some people I don't have a ticket yet because I'm just like, if I'm not feeling it, I might just watch it at home. And I know a few of our friends are kind of in the same boat, so I probably will go though. I see it dropping like by the end of the week, so we're pretty good at sniping these things. And NXT, ever since they announced Shawn Spears in the main event, oh boy, they're basically pay you to go to the show. It looks like so. We'll definitely see people there on the Sunday booing Shawn Spears and anyone who's representing St. Catharines and Niagara Falls. But yeah, I'm happy to see the people. So wear your frog merch, your post wrestling merch if you got them. And while I'm on it, you might be seeing, if you're watching us on the YouTube version, we're wearing our brand new Poisonrana button-up shirts.
Oh, yes.
Look at us. Look at us. We got our own designs on our own T-shirts now.
Absolutely.
Sorry,
button-up shirts. Like, with matching shorts that are incredibly comfortable. They look a bit like rompers, poison rompers.
They really are what they are.
And I'm not mad about it either. And it is now the start of the Super Summer Sale, or the Summer Super Sale, excuse me, up to 25% off select tees and hats. Store-wide, Dickie's made it very easy for you. You can go and see the sale options by just going to chop-tees.com/Poisonrana. A lot of these items, especially like the regular t-shirt, ship very, very quickly. These ones are kind of hand stitched, so they take a little longer to arrive on your doorstep, but you can get your merch. If you order today, you may get it in time for Money in the Bank. It can be that quick if you're getting one of the classic t-shirts. Certainly stuff in time for SummerSlam, and certainly stuff like this to enjoy to wear all summer long.
Yes, I appreciate anyone who's already copped some of our merch, but now with this sweet deal, you can get the snapbacks, the t-shirts, all that stuff is a little on sale there. So go check us out and support your boys, because this is all to us. Like Dickie created this website, and now he's got post wrestling on it, WrestleNomics, Lapsed Fan, including ourselves and our kind of other shows like What Up Doe and Detox and everything. So go check it out and look and support and buy yourself a hat, a t-shirt, and all these things, because it supports your boys and keeps us going and keeps us motivated. And I love seeing people rocking the frog. So support your poison pals. We love you tadpoles out there. So there's some of the plugs going out. I know you mentioned you were away, but we had banked some shows for the Patreon. And we wanted to do this show for a while, but I think this Who Killed WCW doc definitely kicked it into gear. So tomorrow we're recording this. This will be out this weekend at some point or a day or two later. We're going to review the final WCW Monday Night Nitro. The final Nitro. We're going to be joined again by our friend Jesse from the Six, because he is a walking, talking WCW encyclopedia. He came over for Forbidden Door the other day, and I gave him the WCW encyclopedia, and for 2 hours he sat there and studied and scanned the whole thing. So he knows everything about WCW. But we're gonna have some fun, because obviously we all watched the documentary, and I know people got some different views on that stuff. So we're probably gonna talk a bit about that, but then watch this whole Nitro in full and go through it and chat about Shane McMahon showing up on a show that he shouldn't show up on, which maybe could happen soon. Maybe. I don't know. Mercedes Monet says she talked to Shane McMahon in an airport about AEW. So,
okay.
Or someone said that she did. So maybe he'll show up on another show one day. But this is going to be a fun review. Sting, Ric Flair, one last time, quotations, and everything else that comes with it. So we've never chatted about this, but I know it's going to be a fun show. So that is out on the Patreon this week.
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's not actually a show I've watched. I've watched from the WWE point of view, that like final sort of the Raw Nitro episode. But I've never watched this actual Nitro front to back. So looking forward to this one for sure.
The Filthy Animals are on it.
Okay.
Ray and Kidman. And then who else? Shawn Stasiak. There's some good
sound. This all sounds about right.
So good. And then the AOL 1-800 collect like bikini girls things. I don't know. It's really dated. It's going to be a great show. So looking forward to that. And then it's Shark Week.
It is.
Off. For those who might not know, but Shark Week. I mean, AEW's picked up finally.
But once again, they've done Shark Week a week early.
So
they did this last year.
They're doing Shark Week tomorrow.
They do it not on Shark Week.
And they're promoting that Shark Week is coming up. I guess that they want to get the jump. They want to jump the shark ahead.
I guess so.
To promote it coming up. But July 7th is what kicks off Shark Week. And if you know us, we love our sharks. In fact, we love all animals here. Frogs, sharks, giraffes. It doesn't matter. Good thing there's not a giraffe week because that would be pretty boring. But Shark
There probably
Week,
is a giraffe week.
Yeah. we say things and then we Google them and they turn out to be real. So Shark Week is in fact a thing. Shout out Discovery. And Cena, I believe, is hosting it. So maybe we'll get Cena show up on the AEW Dynamite. But Shark Week is next week for those actually keeping score. And we like to celebrate. We've, in the past, done Sharknado. We've done Jaws. We've done
Deep Blue Sea.
Hat is like a shark's fin.
Yeah.
So this time we are putting it to a Facebook tadpole, and we are getting you to vote. We're not closing it, right? It's
not closed yet. Still time.
There's still time to vote for the Meg.
The options are Open Water from 2003.
A good movie.
Yeah, pretty good film. A couple. It's based on a true story. Yeah. They're on their honeymoon. They jump off a boat, and the boat kind of drives off without them, and now they're surrounded by sharks. The Reef. While sailing to Indonesia with his friends, Luke's boat capsizes. Desperate to survive, a few members decide to risk swimming to a nearby island, but a great white shark starts trailing them.
Okay.
The current leader in our tadpole,
right?
Sharktopus, a half shark, half octopus creature, specially created for the military, goes on a rampage of terror in Mexico, while a scientist who helped create it tries to capture or kill it. Starring Eric Roberts.
Oh, shit. All you needed to say was Eric Roberts. Might have to change my vote.
Yeah, okay. That one is leading so far. And then The Meg.
I thought everyone wanted the Meg. That's why we were doing, but like we didn't just pick it. We decided to put it to a poll, and everyone's not voting for it.
A group of scientists exploring the Marinas Trench encounter the largest marine predator that has ever existed. That's the Megalodon.
That's Jason Statham, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Bald King, Jason Statham versus a shark.
Jason Statham or Eric Roberts? Vote now.
That's a real tough one, to be honest. I saw there's a shark movie that's like new that was trending on Netflix, Under Paris, and like everyone was talking about this new like shark movie, and I'm like, oh, we'll have to do that one day, but we still have so many that we haven't done. So yeah,
other absolute classics to talk about.
Go vote. We'll probably leave this open for another little while.
Yeah, might even reveal on the NXT Heatwave show if you remember on
big
Sunday.
Reveal. The shark movie review.
Job Nobly in the chat, if that is your real name, says Orca is not on the list again. Once again, an orca is a whale.
Yeah,
for the third year in a row.
Let us know when
Job Nobly.
Orca Week.
Tell us when it's Orca Week.
Although we do want to review Free Willy one day.
I did see a whale in the wild last week.
You saw a whale?
I saw 2 whales last week.
Wow.
I was in Newfoundland.
Wow.
And saw, two whales.
Was it like big blue whales up there?
I saw a juvenile fin whale.
Juvenile
and a humpback whale.
Oh, yeah. Those are popping.
Pretty cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. There you go. So when's whale week?
There's got to be a whale week. Job Nobly, let us know when whale week is. Orca week.
Yeah. Any excuse to listen to that Michael Jackson song? I'll do it.
It's the week after Shark Week.
All right. That's a little just pushing it. They're like, oh, don't forget about orcas.
It's like someone announcing their engagement at someone's wedding, isn't it?
Oh,
like,
I hate those people. Those are the worst people. Come up with better ideas. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So
fuck you, orcas.
We will celebrate Shark Week by reviewing one of those movies, and it's up to you to help vote on our Facebook group. So search Poisonrana on Facebook, find the page, like it, but there's a group too. And we put up polls and things like that to help come up with ideas and things. So, but if you join the Patreon, you get to access all those past Shark reviews, including best match ever Shark Cage match.
Oh yeah, we did do that.
And I know what you're thinking out there. Yes, one day we will do best match ever Shark Boy, but
maybe
one day. He should be on AEW tomorrow if it all goes right, or at NXT TNA. Could come in. They could cross promote with Shark Boy. But yes, so there's some things going on over on our Patreon. It's $5 USD to sign up, and it gives you a whole month's access. And again, you can access all the pods. So support your boys. If you like what you hear, sign up, and you get all those shows. You also get the show. We had Benno, our pal Benno from Grapple, was visiting Toronto. He still is, and we're going to be hanging out with him this weekend. But he was in the BDE in the flesh. And we stuck a microphone in his face as we were cooking and said, we're recording a show right now. And he said, okay. So we talked about some AEWs. We talked about some wrestling. We talked about some aliens. And then we tried to kill him with the bomb hot sauce.
Yes.
So that was a fun show. So go check that out as well. So there you go. Lots and lots of stuff going on here at the BDE and post wrestling. But yeah, I feel like we haven't done anything in person in quite a while.
It's been a little bit.
I had Siino on last week. You had Siino on the week before.
That's right.
Siino's going to join us this Sunday. So shout out John Siino. Happy Canada Day.
Happy Canada Day. Yeah.
Happy July 4th.
That's coming up. Yeah.
Happy July 5th.
Yeah.
Happy Pride. That's
Happy Pride.
Over with.
That was the thing. Yeah.
Happy birthday, Bret Hart.
Okay.
Fuck Bill Goldberg.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Eric Marcotte.
Happy birthday, Eric Marcotte.
Yeah.
2 Canadian legends' birthday today.
And do check out this past Saturday on the Poisonrana feed. Martin Bushby did a marathon 12-hour stream. It's all available for you to watch on the YouTube. So many guests from like myself, the What Up Doe lads, Wei Ting, Eagles Don't Hunt Flies, Karen Peterson, WH Park, Bruce Lord, Brandon Thurston was on there, the Grapple lads. Martin did this for the MC8 Foundation, a fundraiser for a female soccer player in the UK who passed away far too young. It was a great fundraiser. I believe he raised over £800 for this. So
wow,
incredible stuff. And you can watch the replay on YouTube. We're going to start like drip releasing on our free feed the individual episodes. It's just a very large file, and my computer is very full right now. So, but yeah, in the next few days, we'll be releasing that if you want to listen to the audio version. But thank you, Martin, and congratulations on an epic feat.
Yeah, I mean, dude, 12 hours. I'm pretty sure he went over 12 hours. Yeah. He's the Iron Man of podcasting for sure. That was very impressive. And he kept it going. He had energy the whole time. He must have been on the Monster energy drinks and the coffee, because I know he was having a few cold ones with us as well. So it's like, I know he was marathoning, and it was all for a good cause. So shout out Martin Bushby, and Eagles Don't Hunt Flies as well, every month on Poisonrana. So shout out. That was a lot of fun, and we had some laughs the other day. I believe we were discussing the term crack whores. I could be wrong, but it made for a fantastic show. So yes, that's another thing you can go check out. There was a lot of wrestling going on. There's a lot of wrestling going on next weekend. It feels like every week there's a lot of wrestling. Should we do Money in the Bank preview and Heatwave after we chat about NXT?
Okay, yep, sounds good.
But did you happen to catch any wrestling from the last little while? Like, what's been going on? It feels like there's a lot.
I've almost finished Forbidden Door.
Okay.
My mum's been in town, so I haven't really watched as much wrestling as I normally do. I am yet to see Naito Moxley, which I might never see ever. And I need to watch the Mercedes Moné match. But other than that, I'm caught up with Forbidden Door. And I did watch the closing angle of SmackDown, and been seeing a little bit of the Wyatt 6 stuff as well.
Right. Yeah. I thought Forbidden Door was pretty good. It wasn't maybe up to par as the last two, especially not last year's, but the main event was stellar, was spectacular. Like Ospreay and Swerve was definitely good. And you kind of knew the finish was whatever, but having it still be, I guess, tied to Don Callis, which I imagine he separates from going forward.
Yeah.
Which they didn't do like a hard set on that. But I I still thought that match was good. It's a match of the year candidate for sure, but it wasn't maybe on my top tier Ospreay.
I liked the match. I thought they actually did a real good thing, because the problem was, and we saw this when Hangman became champion, was the story was you were waiting for Hangman to win that title, and then as soon as he won it, he was overshadowed by CM Punk, who had just come into the company. And it was just waiting for Punk to take it off of him. And well, we know what happened after that. I think they did the right move here, because you had the similar kind of case where people like Swerve, and Swerve deserved that title. But as soon as he got it, the shiny new toy and Will Ospreay came in, and you're kind of waiting for that to happen. And I think booking this match and having Swerve go over was the right idea. I think Will is clearly going to have his day as the champion. It's not right now. And I think you solidify Swerve as the champion. I find the whole screwdriver thing a bit ridiculous. I found it ridiculous when the Lucha Bros were doing it, Death Triangle in the best of 7.
Okay.
I'm just like, you're not stabbing a guy in the skull. Come on. There's whacking someone with a chair, and there's stabbing someone in the head with a screwdriver. I hate that weapon. But I get what they were doing. It was kind of not a dodgy finish as in Swerve cheating, but you do have the excuse of the distraction. I thought the match was good. From what I've seen of the pay-per-view, and I'm looking forward to watching the Mercedes match. It was solid. I'm getting NXT moving to the USA Network vibes. Like, it's a good show. It's a good product, but I'm not as excited about it as I once was. And I think the fact that the show was on Sunday and it's Tuesday night, and I really haven't seen any spoilers online. And I've been online, and I follow a load of wrestling accounts. And the fact that I don't really care and I haven't really seen anything, I think kind of says a lot with where AEW is right now. My interest is definitely at the lowest. Shingo versus Danielson is a match I should be really excited about. Thought it was a good match. Yeah. I'm probably never going to watch it again.
It didn't live up to the hype for sure. Yeah.
Orange Zack Sabre Jr. I thoroughly enjoyed, but still I think I'm at a place now where I've seen the great wrestling from AEW, and I'm not saying you need to go full story. I think what AEW is doing and what WWE are doing are very different. WWE, I have been enjoying a lot of the builds, but then when it comes to matches, I may be a little underwhelmed.
Yeah.
And AEW is kind of the other way around. I think we got to see what the next evolution of wrestling is now, because I think we've gone through that period of, Western wrestling being very inspired by that golden age of New Japan when you were having your Kenny and Okada style matches.
Yeah.
And I think that's gone down now, and we've got to see what we do next in wrestling. I don't want to watch another ladder match for another 2 years. That did absolutely nothing for me.
Yeah, didn't care for
that match. I didn't think we needed.
Although best table bump maybe ever was, how clean was that Blue Thunder?
Oh, that was beautiful.
Other than that, though, I didn't really care for that.
Yeah. I'm sounding really negative, and it was technically a good show from what I've seen. I've enjoyed it, but I'm not getting that. I should be trying to fit in whenever I can to be watching this show. Right. And I'm just, whatever it is, I'm not doing that. I'm not kind of passionate about it right now like I once was.
Yeah.
And I can't quite put my finger on why that is.
There's a lot, like, for wrestling, like if this was to be the pay-per-view when the cards that they were giving us when AEW was the hot new toy, we'd be like, this was amazing. This is the best. But we're kind of just like bored of whatever it is that they kind of are presenting. And I think, maybe just as a fan watching like the death of WCW, where you see like, oh, after a while, things got stale. We needed to switch things up. It's already been 5 years with AEW. Like, hey, Tony, you've done a great job. No matter what, people on the internet say, you've done a great job. But maybe now after 5 years, like, we open up to having help and people maybe coming up with different things.
I think they need to really find that one hot story that really makes you need to tune in every week.
Right.
We know they've got one of the best rosters of all time, in my opinion. You know the wrestling is going to live up to it, but I think you need just one like we saw with all the stuff with The Rock earlier in the year, where you wanted to see like you might not watch the whole of an episode of SmackDown or Raw, but you have to watch that segment every week. I think the stuff Punk and Drew have been doing recently is very similar. I want to see what happens next with that. I thought Heyman was incredible this last week on Friday. And I haven't gone back and watched the whole episode of SmackDown, and I'm probably not going to. But they are the things that I am, okay, I've got to watch this before we next chat. I've got to watch this segment. And I've not watched the whole of Dynamite the last 2 weeks. And I can't say there's anything that anyone has told me that I've got to watch before I see Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
I think they need to, and I'm not just saying you need to write stories. You've just got to find a story that hits. And whether that's Hangman coming back in and the big swerve Hangman match at Wembley, perhaps, if that's it, but it's not, it's luck as well, isn't it? It's just stumbling across the right thing that just connects with people. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely become like a bit boring, a bit stale compared to. I think it's a lot of time like WWE was so bad that this was your like savior, and now there's stuff on WWE that's so much better that it's like, oh well, actually they're doing this. I see a lot of stuff from AEW a few years ago that WWE is taking and clearly inspired by like the Drew McIntyre CM Punk thing. Half the stuff is reused.
It's riffing on that. Yeah,
exactly. They're using that, right? So like I find that WWE is taking bits and pieces from what AEW was doing, and you can't deny that the competition definitely kicked them in the ass to where they are now and doing great. But AEW, it's like, yeah, you need to figure out something, because even announcing, big high caliber matches is good, but there's something. And I don't think a lot of people can figure out what it really is. I still think the show, the wrestling wise, is like head and shoulders. But like I watched Clash of the Castle, for me was a struggle. I didn't give a fuck about it. And I'm kind of feeling the same way about Money in the Bank. And to be honest, and Heatwave, like, I don't think the wrestling will be anywhere near as good as some of the wrestling I saw in Forbidden Door, but at least some of the stories are a lot more interesting. Like the ladder match itself has so many different stories going into it that you're like, okay, well, who's going to win? It makes you, want to watch and figure that out. Whereas the stories going to Forbidden Door and even coming out of it we're just in the same place. And now Swerve is the champ. And I think going into All In, I think All In will be a fantastic card, and they need to, after whatever the hell they did last year with the build to that. So I think they'll be fine, but this one wasn't like, oh, last year I walked out of Forbidden Door. Mind you, we were there like live, being like, wow, that was possibly the best event I'll ever go to. Whereas this year it was like, yeah, it was all right.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a big like drop off, right?
I have zero FOMO about Wembley so far. Granted, we don't have a card, but I'm just like, I can't see a card that will give me FOMO.
Omega Okada, but even that is like,
seen it 4 times.
There's
there's
definitely something they need to do, and maybe going forward, like this next stretch, they will pick it up. But I don't know that you just trace it to like ever since the Punk stuff, they've like just slowly been going down. And I'm not someone who nitpicks at like, oh, look at their ratings, they're so low and stuff like that. But like attendance, ratings, they might be getting a huge deal, whether it's on Max, whether it's something which like is great. Maybe that'll help more, viewers and stuff like that. But as far as like the wrestling, it was still good, but it didn't get to maybe the levels that I know that some of these guys can get to, especially Danielson and Shingo. I found it was not maybe what I've hyped up.
It felt like a first round tournament match.
Yeah. I was a little bummed by that. I love Zack Sabre Jr. and Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, I thought that was really fun.
Zack Sabre, New Japan. This isn't even a New Japan show. Like, first of all, this was more CMLL guys on the show than New Japan guys. Naito Mox. For some reason last week I was like, oh, I hope that's like a sleeper hit. Absolutely wrong about that. Naito is a broken down man who New Japan
who won, Naito?
Yeah. And they're going to try to keep him as their one star. Like, they're going to try to do, so I don't know if you saw, but they've announced Tokyo Dome 2 nights. and the second night is now like AEW CMLL like super
for
show.
like January 4th.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's, I believe, the 5th. I could be wrong. So because New Japan are scraping, probably begging them to let them have stars, because Naito's filled the dome before. He ain't doing it again because we've seen it all before. It's done. It's old news. So like they need to fix the cold product in both New Japan and AEW, and still doing joint shows. I don't think that helps.
I think the problem was as well when in the past, when we've seen the New Japan talent, most of which have joined AEW now.
Yeah.
But when we've seen them come before Forbidden Door, the first one, they were presented as big deals most of the time, right? They were protected. When Hechicero first came in a few months ago, he was interesting. And I think people were, this guy is cool. We hadn't maybe heard of him as much because we're not as exposed to CMLL as we are to New Japan. And what did they do? They had him lose, and they had him on Rampage and that kind of thing. So it was already, you kind of didn't treat them as an equal going into this match. Yeah. And it's MJF Hechicero. If you had Hechicero, every time he was showing up was, on Dynamite, winning matches. He's got his cool alchemist fire entrance thing. That match might have felt bigger than it did. And he's a great wrestler, but it felt thrown together. And I felt the same with all this CMLL guys. They just haven't had a good showing really on Dynamite for them to seem like any sort of threat. You're making it a dream match.
Yeah. I have to admit that as an avid fan of AEW, but knowing a bit more about other companies, I feel like they've really not helped these other guys come in. Sure, you can win some matches on Dark and Collision and Rampage, but bro, no one watches those shows. So this guy has not been featured or heavily winning or anything to most of the viewers who are like, wait, what? Who's this guy? And look, WWE brings people in too, and they push new people, but it's all about how you present it and stuff. I feel like there's different things on AEW lately that little things are having people maybe turn. And it is interesting seeing the fandom kind of just slowly kind of get a little bit more quiet on it and more negative on it. But maybe that's because people are feeling that it's not that great right now. So either way, I still like the show, but it wasn't a show of the year stealer. And they've had their pay-per-views it was still a good pay-per-view, and their pay-per-views are always good. But their last few pay-per-views felt amazing. We were at the Sting one, and I don't think they'll ever top that this year. But that, let's see what they can do. And Jeff Jarrett better win the fucking thing in main event All In. But you mentioned Paul Heyman on SmackDown with the Bloodline. There's another thing. The Bloodline thing was getting, next guy comes in. Okay, the next guy comes in. Okay, the next cousin, the next brother. Okay, how many fucking cousins and nephews does Rikishi have? Okay, wait. Jacob Fatu? Okay, hold on a second. Wait a second.
I think the last show we did, I think, was just before Jacob Fatu debuted.
Yeah.
And a big issue I had was you're hearing on commentary these savages, these terrifying, scary men. And no, it's not. It's Tama Tonga and Camacho. What I was watching wasn't matching what I was hearing.
Right,
the story they're trying to tell me is not what I'm seeing. Jacob Fatu comes in and he looks like a savage. He looks terrifying. And you believe he could fuck up all these people.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's got a bit more credibility again. And I think I thought the angle, Paul Heyman's just fantastic. If you haven't listened to it already, go back, listen to our Paul Heyman profile show, because we love him. He's incredible. And what a performer. And how, all in he goes to the part, the not shaving, not sleeping for 36 hours.
How did you get his eyes so red?
From not sleeping. Yeah.
Hanging out with RVD.
And all that stuff adds to it. And I think, I don't think they necessarily seem like the biggest threat, but after the angle on Friday, you're now just waiting for Roman to come back. I think they're building it up in such a way where when he does return, whenever that is, whether that's this Saturday at Money in the Bank, whether it's at the end of SummerSlam, whenever it is, it's going to be monstrous. And, you know, bringing the Usos back together and Sammy, perhaps. I mean, I fully see Bron Breakker beating Sammy for the title. That leaves Sammy with something to do. And if the Bloodline are looking for that fourth man, he makes all the sense in the world. And Roman making amends for the wrongs he's done and that kind of thing. I think they're doing a really good job. It's, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa ain't doing it for me, but, you know, Solo's had moments where I think he's been pretty good. And Jacob Fatu definitely adds something to that group.
Yeah, he's like, oh, okay. And you don't have to know much about him. You just see this guy. You're like, oh, wait, there's another one of these guys. Another one. And then it's like, oh,
I'm sure we'll get Hikuleo coming in soon.
Yeah, we'll get all of them. Okay, there's like 7 more already. It's already wrestling. And then they've all got, like, Fatu's like, yeah, I got 7 kids. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Steve Uso come in.
Like, what's going on in the Isle of Samoa in this family?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow, impressive. This will go on for generations.
Oh yeah,
the way things go with all these kids. So
from Jacob Fatu alone,
they already got.
He's got 11. Is it
11? I thought it was 7. I
think it's 11.
That's insane.
I don't know.
Yeah, damn. They be backing that us up for real. But I've been loving that. I think that was a real like shot in the arm of fixing what the boring, monotonous after week after week. And again, like you said, like first maybe some kids watching, they don't know who Tangaloa and the other guys are, but they just like to us, we're like, okay, wait, we know who you are. You're kind of shit.
Yeah.
But then they see the Jacob Fatu and they're like, hey, this guy seems a bit more wily. So very good. Any thoughts on the Wyatt 6 stuff that's been going on?
I kind of like I like the VHSs they've been doing. I think Bo's performances have been really good.
Have you ever owned a VHS player?
I've owned many VHS.
They kept calling it that.
Not VCR. VHS player. Yeah, that's true.
It's like, yo, I'm really old. If that's something that I'm like, why can't you just say that?
Yeah.
VHS player.
Yeah, that's
no
true.
one ever said that back in the day. It's a VCR.
But I want like kids. Maybe they're just like
DVD player.
Yeah,
VHS
I don't know. No, I think Bo's actually been really good, and we're not fans of Bo Dallas particularly here. We do a show called What's Next. We go back. We've watched most of his career, and it ain't that great. But I do think his performances in these VHSs have been pretty good, and I kind of like how right now it doesn't seem like they're necessarily supernatural beings, but they're kind of,
right.
It's like they're donning this to like honor the Wyatts, but also they're targeting people who've left their families and stuff because family's everything.
But,
so
yeah, okay, yeah. Because to me, I was like really into the Gable Sami Zayn storyline, and I felt like it totally took a.
I think Gable's the wrong person to do with this. With
like
I think targeting Jey Uso makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, the guy like took the Fireflies.
But I think I kind of like the excuse they did this year because Gable turned his back on his family, so that's why they've targeted him. It does feel Gable's character is kind of been a bit all over the place.
Yeah,
last few months being babyface to a heel to like this narcissist.
Yeah,
but. I don't know. It's still, at the end of the day, it's how does it translate to the ring, which we haven't seen yet. But 2 weeks in, I've been interested at least with what they've done so far.
Yeah, like, honoring Bray and everything is great, obviously. But it's so far, I'm like, okay, I like to sit down with Bo. But again, you're right. It's like, how will that translate? Like, what's the next step?
At the end of the day, we still have to watch Bo Dallas wrestle.
Yeah.
Which is,
yeah. So... I'm not too into it so far, but they could come around. And again, we kind of said before, like we think back, Money in the Bank is in Scotiabank Arena where The Fiend debuted with the amazing entrance that we were there live for. So I hope they'd kind of replicate that and try to do something there again, because that would be pretty cool. Because for me, it's all about the smoke and mirrors with this thing. Because you just said it's Bo Dallas and all these like misfit toys and Joe Gacy. At least Joe Gacy found another cult.
Yeah.
And he's not kidnapping people's dads.
Not yet.
Just yet. Yeah, exactly. So, so that's what's kind of been going on with SmackDown. We can do a little preview and predictions for the actual pay-per-view after we talk about some NXT. But should we do that?
Let's do it. NXT from July 2nd, 2024 from the Performance Center. We start with a street fight. Jaida Parker taking on Michin. Michin comes out wearing the old black and gold We Are NXT shirt with the NXT towel in a back pocket.
I wonder if they still sell those or she had to like find that.
She got it in clearance, yeah, for sure.
Clearance? No, the 2.0 stuff is in clearance at this point.
This is just not being made anymore.
Yeah,
this is retro at this point.
Yeah.
She picks up her chain and whips it at Jaida, but she moves out the way. Jaida starts smashing her with a trash can lid. There's an awkward-looking Samoan drop from Michin. Jaida hits her draping butt attack onto the trash can for a 2 count. Michin then goes for a tope suicida to the floor, but Jaida moves out the way and she goes crashing into these steel chairs that are all set up at ringside.
Yeah, giving me Shotzi Blackheart
vibes.
Oh,
yeah.
Man, eating those chairs. Michin took that on the chin.
Parker then goes for her running hip attack, but this time to the barricade, but Michin moves out the way and she goes crashing through it. Notice this week they're calling this hypnotic, the hip attack she's doing.
Right. I mean, you're aware of what hypnotic is.
The Incredible Hulk.
One half of the greatest beverage with Hennessy, the Incredible Hulk. So I am a fan of the hypnotic name. Yes.
Yeah. After the commercial break, Parker is fish hooking Michin with a hammer. Michin then grabs a... I thought she was getting thumbtacks, but these were what? Just like metal coins, discs?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what that was.
And
we don't do thumbtacks on Tuesdays.
I guess not. Yeah. Puts them all over these steel chairs, but Parker backdrops her onto it. Michin then grabs a kendo stick, starts lighting her up. There's a fire extinguisher, gas explosion thing. And then Parker hits the running hip attack, the hypnotic, this time through the NXT sign wall thing at ringside.
Wow.
Goes crashing through it. And then the running hypnotic in the ring for the win.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so her move is a hip attack. We've complained before how it's pretty lame and lazy considering a lot of people use hip attacks in all sorts of different ways. I'm glad they've given it a name. They really are pushing the move considering they had her...
She hit it like 4
through
times.
The wall. It was very TNA-esque where like years TNA would have this like set up stage part that they'd always... It's like WWE and their guardrail.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of that guardrail spot. Like just do it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Rig something somewhere else. But they always would send people through the wall, and that was totally what they did here with that spot. But
we've seen it in NXT a few times.
This was a pretty fun opening match, especially for this show. I wasn't too high on this episode, but you had Michin taking some crazy bumps, including that one going face first into the chairs and then getting bum slammed, hypnotic into the wall as well. So I thought Michin like helped Jaida Parker here. Like in a way, it's helping her get over and beating her. So I didn't mind this, and I do like Jaida Parker. It's still just like you're new and your move was just a butt to the face. So I thought this was at least a step in the right direction for her.
Yeah, I thought they both beat the shit out of each other here, which was pretty fun to watch. I liked I don't like the move, but I did like the stuff like doing it to the barricade, doing it to the wall. It made it seem a bit more devastating. The finish, though, it still feels... it doesn't feel like a finisher.
Yeah.
But I thought both worked hard here and the crowd were into it and it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
We go backstage to Carmen Petrovic and Ariana Grace, and they're in the women's locker room, and Grace is just sighing, trying to get the attention of Carmen. So Carmen eventually asks her what's wrong. And she goes, I don't want to talk about it. This is classic vague booking. Remember when people would put on their status,
yeah.
Why is everyone so shit?
People still do this.
Oh, Han, what's wrong? I don't want to talk about it.
People still do. I solely use Facebook for like talking to friends that you don't have the same apps or whatever, maybe, and family. And like Facebook, you still see people posting like, oh, my, woe is me. Oh man, I feel bad for people.
So she says that last week Soul snatched my soul and my heart. And now I'm not going to Heatwave, and Heatwave's in Toronto, and I'm from there, and people are waiting there for me. And Carmen says, well, I'm from there too, and I actually know where you're coming from. I know the feeling. I want to be on that show too.
Yeah, I had a little. I have to give a little fact check for people out there. Ariana Grace and Carmen are both from here, but Ariana in this promo decided to pronounce it Toronto, and Carmen right after said Toronto, which it's a good giveaway for people here when people don't pronounce the second T is kind of giving off that you're from here, you know things a little bit.
The second T is for tourist.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of things people say. So I noticed that Ariana, being maybe the heel of these two, pronounce it. I know she's proper. She likes to, pronunciation and everything, but I noticed this. So I tweeted at both of them and said like, oh, Carmen got it right. And Ariana claiming she's from Toronto, but says it wrong. Clearly, she's from like Mississauga or something. Wink, wink, battle arts. But later on in the night, spoilers, Ariana pronounces it correctly. So shout out Carmen for maybe tipping her off.
JC Jane and Jasmine Nix come in and then make fun of them for not making it to the show. Say they have no friends. And Carmen goes, yeah, well, if you got an issue with it, let's fix it. Throughout the night, we get videos hyping up the four-way men's NXT Championship main event, which there'll be a contract signing. This one we have from Javon Evans, who says it's his first PLE ever, and he's going to be in the main event, and it's crazy. It's the biggest crowd he'll ever perform in, and he will be NXT champion. We then get a video of Kalani Jordan, who's basically just saying what a good gymnast she is. It was showing loads of clips of her gymnastic competitions and all the things she's won. And she's putting Sol Ruka over, who's going to be her challenger at Heatwave. And she says, like Michael Jordan said, some want it to happen, some wish it to happen, and others make it happen. And Lani is going to make it happen.
Wow.
So going in with a lot of confidence here.
Very Michael Scott from The Office. Like,
yeah.
The Wayne Gretzky quote, but also I'm saying that. It's pretty much. She's definitely stepped up, and I don't think the heel turn is happening anytime soon, especially with this program. But I still think eventually down the line, her character would maybe make a bit more sense, and I think she's got the attitude for it. But I'm looking forward to this match.
New Catch Republic versus Hank and Tank. Tank comes to the ring wearing a hard black bicycle helmet.
He was wearing the helmet.
Yeah.
So maybe they rode.
Did I miss something last week? Did Hank gift him this?
It's like, did they ride?
Or they're just still trying out different gear. They were dressed like you today, both of them.
I need to get. We're both dressed the same today, but we're like them now, wearing our own shirts every week. We gotta love Hank and Tank for always wearing new stuff every week. They're like fashionistas. If it was black t-shirts.
They're wearing new stuff. I wouldn't go as far as fashionista. No. It's not good stuff.
Yeah,
but they are wearing new stuff.
Yeah. They're like always got new stuff, but it's still just a black t-shirt or something. So bless them. Love these guys.
Hank tries to muscle Bait to the mat, but Bait is doing his bridge, his big strong boy stuff. Tyler then walks up the ropes to get out of it with his hands and head scissors out of the move. There's an airplane spin from Bait to Hank as we go to commercial break. After the break, Hank dumps Bait on top of Dunn, and Dunn then locks in a triangle hold, but Hank hoists him up in the air, blind tags Tank, who comes off the top rope with a clothesline. Bait then hits a rolling senton suicide dive, but gets caught by Hank and Tank and dumped onto Dunn on the apron. Dunn then charges at Tank and gets popped up into a back suplex, which looked pretty nice. Dunn then tags Bait, breaks the fingers, and there's the rebound lariat from Bait, and then the spiral tap to Tank for the win.
Yeah, pretty fun match. Hank and Tank definitely stepped up, especially when they're facing two guys like these two, and that was kind of the storyline when they challenged them last week. They wanted to have a good match, and I felt like they definitely had some cool spots. Like these two are... Yeah,
they worked on some double team moves they got and stuff.
Like these two are kind of like the jobber tag team here, but their story every week that you see them is them being like, oh, how do we get better? How do we become like an actual,
Yeah, we keep seeing them trying stuff out. Yeah. I felt the end of the match it felt like they went, right, we got to finish the match now. And they just went to the finish. I didn't feel there was any real true build to it.
Yeah.
It was Hank and Tank in control and then just tag in, break the fingers.
Yeah.
And
I like Hank and Tank's machismo and charisma and stuff. Like their wrestling clearly is getting better. These two guys are pretty green, I'm imagining. And having matches with Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate are something that's gonna like help improve. But like, correct me if I'm wrong. Why is these two still in NXT? Like, it just feels like every time these two go away and there's a new story, a new gimmick, a new fucking name, even then they come back. And that's like rinse repeat with these two. Like, I love these guys, but like, is this just what they're being used for still?
Yeah, I mean, I guess they probably live in Florida at this point as well. So it's coming down to help out guys like this.
Yeah.
And if they don't have anything going on the main roster right now. But
so.
I agree. It feels like they've moved up.
It's
three
like,
times.
Hey, like if you're going away, just like stop now. Because like we were. Yeah, and it's not like I love Tyler Bate.
But also, you're only going to get better by working with people better than you. Yeah. And I think when you've got that's why we have a Shawn Spears in here and stuff like that. You know, no, you need to work with veterans. I'm not saying you need to work with world champions, but you need to work with people who've done it longer than you.
Right.
If you're going to improve,
absolutely,
you're not going to improve with your gym buddy who started wrestling 2 months ago.
Yeah,
you know,
fair enough.
We then get a video for Shawn Spears. We go to
chairs.
He loves chairs.
And he's the learning chair and he wants to help people, but he also wants to be NXT champion.
We go to Robert Stone, who's with Oro Mensah and Stevie Turner, who I guess are both trying to get his services.
Yeah, we're not quite sure what's going on. So Stevie Turner and Rob Stone, Mr. Stone, were hanging out Ava's office last week. And now the storyline is they both like are looking to do stuff. And I don't know.
Stone says, like, wow, what a story Oro had last week. Like, wow, I really admire that. And then Stevie Turner just makes fun of them and is being rather annoying. They're all talking over each other here. And Stone says that Stevie has the bad news and says that Stone won't tell him, but there are complications with Ethan Page and Oro Mensah isn't going to Heatwave. And then she calls Stone a narc.
Okay, so yeah, I guess they are working for Ava. So Ava, who's not really the GM.
Yeah.
The assistant.
No, she is the GM.
She is
now.
the GM.
She is
but
GM.
So now she's got assistant to the assistant, and they're doing her bidding. And Ethan Page has got Aura banned from Heatwave. Yes, he's just been fighting them all around the world, so he won't be fighting in Canada. So Ethan Page can not be distracted.
We go to Brynlee Reese versus Izzy Dame. It's a lot of Izzy showing off her power, throwing Brynlee around. Brynlee comes back with the honor roll. And then during the match, Tatum Paxi appears. Both Izzy and Brynlee are trading roll-ups, but we eventually get the big boot from Izzy, followed by the Falcon Arrow for the win. And after the match, Tatum comes in and just stares at Izzy Dame.
Yeah. Izzy just recently got some TNA shine, I think. Okay. She was one of like surprise things. And you got to feel bad because I think it was the same thing with whoever was it that showed Tatum Paxley. Half the people who are there are like, I don't know who this is, even though they're WWE. And I felt like it was even more so for Izzy. People were like in the video that I saw, people were like, who is this? Like you just see the crowd, everyone asking their friend, like, who is this person? And it's like, it's not quite the name you saw.
You're TNA. You're not getting Roman Reigns.
Yeah. It's like, hey, like you're getting the NXT people.
We're throwing you a bone here.
Yeah. So I feel for her when I saw that, but also good for her, letting her explore and there were other talents at these things as well. But as for this, I didn't really care for this. Like I think she's a bit of a bland character on this show, and she's doing the mean girl thing, and we've got other girls doing the same.
She feels a bit lost because Kiana James has moved up, so she's on her own. Whenever Izzy comes out, or Izzy and Jasmine come out, I kind of feel they're the same person. I think Jasmine has shown more in ring, but yeah, she does feel like she's lost without Kiana right now.
Yeah.
We go to Chase U. Andre Chase is saying that there's a lot of tag history in Toronto. DIY won the tag titles there. Street Profits retained the titles there. And Chase U are now going to become 2-time tag champions there.
He's right, though. We've got DIY.
Yeah.
What other tag history is there in Toronto?
Street Profits.
I'm trying to think, like, other than those are the two NXTs.
We had TMDK versus AOP
in the
Shark Cage match.
Happy Shark Cage week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Other moments in Toronto, tag team moments. There's got to be some big ones there, but wow, Andre Chase could join that list.
Duke then says, well, we didn't really win fairly last week, and presents a picture of Ridge Holland cheating, helping them win. The assist. So there's an asterisk on our win. And Ridge says, when you gave me the Chase U shirt, I just got all excited. I felt part of a group and a family, and I got overexcited, so I cheated and helped you win. I'm so sorry, guys.
Yeah, anyone need an excuse sometime? Write down what Ridge's excuse. I just got a little excited.
You just gave me a t-shirt. Sorry. I got excited.
This t-shirt you gave me, I got a little excited. I cheated. It happens.
Andre Chase says, look, I get it, but you're going to have to stay in the back, man. You can't come out. I don't need that excitement on Sunday.
Wow. So no Ridge?
No Ridge.
On Sunday?
I think we'll see Ridge.
That Ridge. Yeah. Chase U, they could become tag champions, but if Ridge has something to say about, maybe he screws that up for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
We see Lola Vice in the ring, and she says the clock is ticking on Roxanne Perez's title reign. Speaks a little bit in Spanish and then calls out Roxanne, who comes out, but with 2 security members. And Lola says, I must have you shook if you're bringing security out. Rox says, no, it's just I'm being safe. You attacked me last week and stole my championship. I'm making sure that doesn't happen again. And I can see right through your act and say, you built a big name here. You built a bigger name here than you did in Bellator. Lola says, look, it doesn't matter whether it's in the ring or in the cage. I'm a fighter. The beginning of this segment's a little bit messy. There's a little bit of talking over each other, and it feels like maybe they're not quite sure where they are in the script. And then Rock says, I saw your match with Shayna, and I couldn't last 2 minutes in a match like that. But this isn't Bellator. This isn't MMA. This is a wrestling match. And in my world, styles make fights, and I'm not going to fight your fight. I'm going to make you wrestle. And Lola says, well, look, I know all about your story. I know your bus rides to go to Booker T's school, but you don't know my story. She starts genuinely tearing up here. She says, my mother was pregnant when it was her black belt test. And then I grew up and I was training for the Olympics when my mum got sick, so I couldn't go. So at 18, I trained in MMA and performed at Madison Square Garden. And now she'll be watching me, and I can't wait to tell her, giving her a phone call and saying, I'll be the new NXT champion. And Rock seems a little moved by this. At first, she says, I didn't know that story. But everyone wants to make that phone call. But none of them ever make that call, because there's a reason why I'm a prodigy. Ask Natalia, ask Lyra, and you're not taking this away from me. And you're just unfortunate that you're in NXT during my era, and I'm not giving up this title for anyone. And Lola says, look, last week you hit me with your best shot, and I smiled. And then when I hit you with that best shot, I'm taking that title, and I'll show you why I'm the best to ever cross over to pro wrestling. I'll rip that title from you and be the first Cuban American to take that title. And then Lola takes out the security guards and says, we may be in your world, but after I knock you out, you won't know what world you're in.
Yeah, you're right. Like the beginning of this, it was a little like kind of they were talking and kind of interrupting each other. But then right away, it was like the waterworks came out. Lola Vice turned it on and got very, very emotional. And you could tell it like everyone in the room was like, oh, okay, wait, she's telling like a serious kind of story here. And then Roxanne to kind of flip it and be like, yeah, well, everyone's got like their story and like, you know, kind of without saying it, like F you, because like I got my stories and this and that. But, you know, Lola, like I think, you know, Lola's been through a whirlwind of a character development because she was like a heel and a babe. Now they quickly flipping her to this and trying to, you know, squeeze out some sort of story. And they did that with her. And I thought her delivery was like, you know, pretty believable, pretty on brand. It felt like she was genuinely emotional here. I know you were away last week, but last week I felt the same way. And I don't want to sound like I'm some, you know, black-hearted asshole, but last week, Ora Mensa had a vignette with the metaphor where it starts with Noam Dar on his iPhone, and then it cuts to Ora Mensah joking around with Lash and them, and then all of a sudden he spills his guts and gets like extremely emotional, and that's what they were referring to this week. It felt like that. It felt like, here I am watching two girls be like, I'm better than you, and yeah, well, this isn't UFC, and then her being like, yeah, well, my mom, and just like loses it, where I'm like, whoa, I wasn't ready for that. Like, so like I liked it, and I think it's showing more from Lola Vice, which is like what we're working on here. What is the pet project? And I continue to think that she will be a big deal and a big star in WWE. Just like sometimes these emotional like stories can kind of hit me like, whoa, I'm watching silly wrestling here.
Yeah, it works though. It's used in a lot of things and it's effective. Whenever I watch, American Idol, X Factor, Britain's Got Talent, it's some guy is going on Britain's Got Talent to ride a unicycle and juggle. And you're like, okay. And then it's sat down and it's like, yeah, I'm doing this because my mum died. And I
got to support my 7 kids.
I just want to have my family proud of me. And you're like, what's that got to do with juggling on a unicycle? Nothing. But okay, I like this guy.
Yeah.
And it works. And, when they cut this video package together and you isolate this bit, it's done an effective job for Lola, who we kind of know if you read the reports and stuff, this wasn't the plan for this show. It felt like it was meant to be Julia, right? We sort of set it up at Stand and Deliver. Obviously, she got injured and Lola's been put in this match. And it does kind of make sense. Lola shoehorned herself into the match with Lyra, so there is a bit of history between them. And I think she has naturally kind of just got over with this crowd and become a babyface. I always have issues with, Roxanne being, oh, well, but that was an underground match. It's like, no, it's still a wrestling match. If Shayna wants to choke you out in a regular wrestling match, she will. I don't ever like that logic, really, when she's like, oh, I wouldn't last 2 minutes. You're the champion. Don't be saying you wouldn't last 2 minutes with someone else in this company.
Roxanne's rebuttal was really like, I'm sorry that all happened to you, but like, I don't care. Or too long.
I thought they turned this round because I did think it was a bit messy to start with, but I'm kind of looking forward to this match. I wouldn't be surprised if Lola wins either.
Yeah.
Roxanne's been here a while and you feel a call up could happen at any point.
Like I'm definitely in the Lola corner, but like Roxanne, if she loses, then like what else is she to do here? And right now everything's kind of busy on the main roster. So it wouldn't hurt to kind of keep her around as a strong character, especially like this we know this Toronto show is happening, but NXT must be doing more of these PLEs in the future, and like you're gonna need her name attached to these shows. So as much as I think Lola Vice like is a hot character right now, I don't know if it's just a little too early.
It can be the chase as well, have Lola lose the first one and then
eventually
like just builds up her fans more. And
like maybe Julia, there's a video after, or maybe like I still think there's more like Roxanne matches that we can get that are worth more in NXT than they are on SmackDown or Raw. So I am looking forward to this match. Kind of like the last NXT PLE. I think Lola Vice's match is the one I'm most interested in watching, possibly. So you know what? I still liked this segment, and I think she's stepping up in all sorts of different directions. But what also caught me off guard is she mentioned her mother was pregnant while training for going for her black belt. That's insane. Like, do they even let you do that? Should you not?
Well, it sounded like she found out she was pregnant whilst going for the test. Okay, so I assume maybe never even did the test.
Right.
I don't know. Wow. We then get a video for Ethan Page when we go backstage to the No Quarter Catch crew, and Damon Kemp is kind of saying to Miles Bourne, look, I've got these brass knuckles here. I can help you out. And Dempsey tells Miles not to listen to him. Miles is like, sorry, what did you say? Yeah, exactly.
I love Miles.
Good old deaf jokes.
I love Miles Bourne. So we get jokes about William Regal's brass knucks, and his kid, and then Miles Bourne. These guys also showed up on some TNA.
Yes,
and that's a definite group that is perfect for something like that, where they're going over and fighting all different people. So I'm sure people watch TNA at the crowd were like, I don't know who these guys are yet, but I'd say you're getting a pretty good group of guys crossing over, because you might not have the star power, but I'd say the wrestling is definitely there, and these guys are improving too. But love Miles Bourne.
We then go and we have a Eddie Thorpe video where you're just seeing him DJ. We said this last time I did a show with you 2 weeks ago. I think we were
gonna DJ?
We were like, they kind of went away from the DJ thing and just made him this, native.
Like,
and now they brought it back.
Okay, yeah. Is it like when you meet someone, like you work at a bar? How many times does someone say like, oh, when you go, oh, like, what do you do? Oh, I'm a DJ. You're like, oh boy, here we go. It's like, Eddie, are you becoming that kind of DJ? Because there's DJs with gimmicks. It's kind of like wrestling. He could be.
Well, you've got the DJ, and then you've got the guy who pulls out a guitar and plays Wonderwall at a party in Lexus King.
I don't think he can play guitar, but you're right. Yeah,
everyone can play those first 3 chords of Wonderwall. And says, "Oh, you're a DJ. That crap." And says, "Rock music is where it's at." And he's like,
Guns N' Roses, Scorpions,
White Snake,
Van
all that.
Halen.
It's all about the hair. And Eddie says, "Nah, it's all about EDM. And if you open your ears, maybe you'd learn something new." We just did Great American Bash 1999.
Rap is crap.
With the whole Rap is Crap with Kurt Hennig and
No Limit Soldiers.
Yeah, no, what was it? The West Texas.
Oh, right.
The thing where no one was from Texas.
Yeah.
I was getting really that vibes. Oh, we're getting
Rap is crap.
Like EDM is crap and
raves suck.
Rock is where it's at.
Okay, I mean, I'm someone who, hey, all music is good, brother. Guns N' Roses, Scorpions, Van Halen, yes, all good stuff. But he's now going to shit on EDM. I think this is a great storyline if we're going forward for wrestling, because I mean, EDM is still a very hot product, and if you go into the more like, I'm thinking DJ, but like Eddie Thorpe, like we've learned any way they try to present him is boring as fuck. So you know what you do? You turn it up past like 11. So if this guy legit is a DJ, let's go. Let's see the most ridiculous. I want him to be such a good DJ that fucking Casey Catanzaro and what's her face show up like, hey, this guy's pretty good.
I do not want that. We're gonna get Lexus King whipping his decks with a belt. Dijak to the tree. Yeah, now it's his decks.
The apple pie. I feel like, we need a guitar shot in this. We need something. Maybe he goes to the studio. I don't know.
We need, it's too late now, but Eddie Thorpe announced as not hosting NXT Heatwave, but opening it.
Oh, DJing
at the Open, and Lexus comes out and trashes like they did with Fozzy on. Yeah, was it Jericho Flair? Was it?
Right. Yeah.
They did that where Flair trashes the.
Yeah,
Fozzy
there's a few times.
Like that,
but you could go in that direction. Of course, people watching are shaking their heads like, yeah, I agree with Lexus. Screw EDM. That's also gets people, I guess. Yeah. It's such a stupid, silly storyline, but we'll go with it. I don't really know what's gonna help either guy, but something I noticed Lexus King tweeting about is that he's got a role in this Bike Riders movie.
Okay.
With the guy who played Elvis and a few big Tom
Butler?
Hardy. Yeah, Austin Butler, Tom Hardy, this Bike Riders movie. Apparently he's in it. So I don't know if he's got more screen time than MJF in the Iron Claw, but we'll...
Hopefully not.
Yeah, interesting. So I'm all for bringing music genre warfare into my wrestling again. I think it's time. So we need DJs to get Guns N' Roses behind Lexus King and then get, Steve Aoki for...
I think you're a lot more excited about this feud than I am.
It's the only storyline that's got me interested on NXT from tonight. Yeah.
We go to Oro Mensah versus Miles Bourne. We get a nice elbow to the back of the neck of Miles from Mensah. Mensah hits a really nice springboard moonsault to I can't speak.
A kebab?
Kabadra. No, what is it called?
What is he hitting?
Kadabra.
The abracadabra?
I'm just going to move on. I can't speak.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no worries.
Your spell check messed you up?
I'm tired. There's a rolling capo kick from Mensah. And then Bourne comes back with a Bob Holly-esque drop kick. This was very nice.
Okay, I know I joked about when he dyed his hair that he was giving me Crash Holly, Bob Holly vibes. But this was a wonderful drop.
Very Bob Holly-esque.
We have to call it a spade here or I guess that's not the right term, but this guy's got the best drop kick in NXT right now, possibly WWE.
Very nice.
That was
very nice.
On the button. a drop kick. Very nice stuff.
It's all to open the doors for Maven to come back.
Does he have a better one? Nah, I like Bob Holly's more than Maven. Maven has a famous drop kick because he drop kicked.
No, he made his was pretty like they would bring attention to his drop kick before then.
But Bob Holly, though.
Yeah. Miles Bourne is then in the corner, and Kemp tries to give him brass knuckles, and Bourne is like, "Sorry, what are you saying?" Doesn't really quite catch it, but this allows Mensah to hit his rolling kick in the corner for the win.
Yeah, so I'm assuming we're going with Kemp now is going to be like ostracized from this group, considering he was the one who's didn't like Tavion coming in, and now he's trying to cheat and yada yada. So not much of a match, considering I do like both these guys, and I think they both are pretty good in ring. I think I could have got a bit more out of it. The capo kick, the Liger kick can look really good, or it can look kind of bad, and I thought it didn't look that great here with the finish, but. I still love Miles Bourne, and I think Aura is actually underrated too. So even though I didn't like this, I think going forward, I still like these guys.
After the match, Mensah says that he's still waiting for Ethan Page. We then get a video package to highlight Obafemi versus Wes Lee.
Yeah, I mean, he mentions like he broke his back defending this title and never thought he'd be wrestling again, and then now he is. So,
and then we cut to a brawl backstage between Gallus and Tyson Dupont and Tyriek Igwe, a match scheduled for tonight's show that didn't happen because I guess they were too busy fighting around the backstage area.
I'm really upset we didn't get that one.
We go to Carlee Bright with Caden Gray. What's her name? Cool. Taking
Carlee Bright and Kendall Gray.
Kendall Gray. Okay. Jesus Christ.
Where's that calendar? Where's that? I don't think she's in the calendar. Oh, I think Carlee Bright is in the calendar.
Okay. Actually, yeah. Taking on Spooky Wendy Choo. Wendy hits this nice, like Zack Sabre Jr.-esque neck twist.
Wow. I
was clearly watching Forbidden Door. And then axe kick to the back.
Does she do that move because it gives you the feeling and sensation of when you sleep with the pillow wrong?
Which is crooked neck. There's headbutts from Wendy Choo. She sets Carlee in a tree of woe and hits a drop kick. Bright comes back with a standing moonsault, but Choo gets the knees up and then delivers her kind of Rainmaker flatliner move we've seen her using recently, followed by the Cobra Clutch for the win.
Yeah, kind of broken record. We love Wendy Choo, and it's kind of like weird that she keeps, I don't even want to say been given these gimmicks, because for all we know, it could be something she's come up with as well. But it seems like everything she's been giving is now like mixed into one character, and I don't have time for what's your gimmick? Spooky. But what your gimmick before was your sleepy? Yeah, now I'm sleepy and spooky. Yeah. And I think she has so much talent, but it's just this isn't anything I'm interested in. And Carlee Bright is like clean cut baby face. We barely know anything about her. They've tried in the past few weeks. So far, like this was a nothing match for me.
I'm pretty sure we had this match a couple of weeks ago as well, and this was pretty much, it was exactly the same. And I don't think we're seeing enough nastiness from Wendy in this new.
Yeah,
she's kind of wrestling very similar to how she did anyway.
I guess the neck crank, the Bray Wyatt flatliner thing. It's like, all right, I don't know. Like, I think she's good talent. I just don't care about this character. And we kind of crapped on it a few weeks ago, and I saw some discourse online that people were really into it, and I was like, okay, I definitely am not one of those people.
Yeah, me neither. We get a video from Shawn Michaels, who's finally addressing the stuff going on with Brooks Jensen, and says, look, there's been a lot going on his social media. There's been disparaging remarks. We're seeing clips of all the things he's been posted. He's saying he's been released. That is not the case. But after his recent behavior, since splitting with Josh Briggs, we've asked him to take a sabbatical to clear his head because we were forced to take action. But Brooks is a part of the NXT family, and I believe in second chances. So we invite him back to NXT next week to steer him in the right direction.
Wow. So they are addressing this character and everything that's been going on. So for those following, Brooks kind of been MIA since Fallon and Briggs been doing their own stuff, and then he was away from TV, and then on social media he was kind of doing like posting he was drinking everywhere, and then there was like that he potentially went missing, and then like there was him showing up in indie stuff, and Then they had the not shown on TV, but putting attention on that he was like trying to interrupt and cause commotion. And then I thought they did a good job the past few weeks of like using social media the way that like it kind of
not highlighted on TV until now. Yeah,
like letting kind of the fans do it for them a little bit, right? And then of course like Shawn breaking the like, oh no, he actually wasn't released.
Doing stuff like coming back from commercial break and Booker T being all flustered. People are like, oh, what happened there? You know, looking out. Oh, someone's just people trying to find. Oh, did a fan storm? And then you realize it's Brooks.
So yeah, I'm a big fan of this. We're a big fan of Brooks Jensen. This kid is super young and has so much potential. And this storyline, again, it's not the like most talked about storyline, but if you kind of look, a lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are interested in like they didn't know who this guy was before. Obviously, we do because we love this guy and we love how he cooks his steak. But now this character is kind of Pillman-esque, kind of, you know, I don't want to say scapegoat, but it kind of is. And going forward, I guess next week he'll finally get to talk. And having a video from Shawn felt like a big like
even the stuff like we believe in second chances. Well, we know Shawn got a big second chance, so it kind of felt. It felt like a sincere boss.
Yeah, it felt like a good rub to have Shawn kind of like do that. So I don't think this would have been as good if it was Ava here.
I agree.
It sounds like it's going to be Brooks and Ava one-on-one, which I think could be bad for Brooks. It should be Shawn and Brooks one-on-one.
I think it might be both of them.
Hopefully, maybe. And again, I think like this is blending real life and wrestling and stuff. And I feel like you'll have your people who go, oh, they're doing the Hangman thing where it's like, oh, it's alcoholism. And then you'll have people, I'm sure tomorrow will be like, oh, they're using alcoholism as a story and a character and all this stuff. But WWE as a whole, you know, minus the Wyatt Six, has been using a lot more realism in it. So if done properly, I think this could be done really well. And so far, like Brooks seems pretty creative doing all this stuff and everything has been working. So again, young kid, we're in his corner. And I think this could be hopefully pretty good and going forward, help his NXT run and kind of step up. But the invite is still out, Brooks Jensen. Ben Buchanan.
I don't know if he's in town.
If you are in town, Toronto, we better see you at the cash-in because we got to be respectful here. You know, we had the Virgin drinks called the Brooks Jensen before. Unfortunately, I think we need to bring back the Virgin drinks for Brooks Jensen now. It seems like as well. So all joking aside, the Brooks Jensen will be back on the menu. It's just going to be a soda pop.
We go to our next match. Jasmine Nix versus Carmen Petrovic. JC Jane is ringside and keeps trying to get involved. Nix delivers some boots to the stomach. Carmen gets a near fall for a 2 and starts delivering a bunch of her kicks of her own. And then JC tries to get involved, which Carmen then stamps on both her hands, but then turns into the Pele kick from Nix for the win.
Yeah, I didn't think this got to maybe a level I thought. I've been enjoying Carmen and her like evolution, and the same with Nix. I do like the Pele kick.
Yeah, she hits it nicely.
Very nice Pele kick. So considering Carmen is the karate expert, I was expecting a bit more kicks from her to Jasmine, but this was all kind of set up with the distraction causing the win, which then sets up a match we now know is set up.
Yeah, I'll go straight to that. We see Carmen backstage with Ava, who says, look, I know you'll be in your hometown and you want to get your own back on JC and Jasmine. So I've booked you in a match with your bestie for the kickoff show for Heatwave. She goes, oh, Natty?
Is she still employed?
She kind of sort of referenced. Yeah, she was like, oh, is she still doing?
Is she still
like
WWE?
Which was quite funny. And she goes, no, Ariana. And Ariana Grace runs in and she's all excited. So the Toronto girls are going to be teaming up.
Yes.
And I quite like that.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny because Carmen's reaction was kind of like how our reaction was like, wait, are they meaning Natty? And it's like, no, your other friend.
Yeah.
And then Ariana comes in and pronounces Toronto
the
right way. So there you go. The two chicks from the 6 going to be on the pre-show on Heatwave.
We see Axiom and Fraser, and they're talking strategy for their title match, title defense at the weekend. And Fraser's kind of going through it. And then Axiom goes, yeah, and then you tagged me in, and et cetera, et cetera. Fraser goes, what do you mean tag me in? I was talking about my match with Xavier Woods on Speed. And Axiom is pissed. He's like, look, why do you keep on overlooking stuff? We've got Chase U on Sunday. And Fraser's like, no, I'm focused, but next up I've got Xavier Woods. So continuing this thing where Fraser is always having these other matches and not completely focusing on the NXT title.
Yeah, I don't like this story of these two. I guess they need something to make it interesting, but if it's coming down to it, it's really, can they coexist then? Because he's like, his head is somewhere else always. So it's a bit odd, but like they're good wrestlers. So, any match they ever have is good. So it's like, okay.
I could see Chase U winning it with Ridge helping.
I thought that, but it's like then the Ridge stuff. So I don't know. I kind of would like that. I think the crowd would react more if Chase U won it, but either way, I think the match could be pretty good, but the story of this is kind of like not the greatest. They should just argue over music genres.
I think this is a legitimate thing you'd be pissed about.
Yeah,
like if your partners are always focusing on.
Sorry, I don't care about the actual tag title, but that Twitter championship against Xavier Woods has just been stuck on my mind lately. It's like, all right, he's been doing it though for like a month now with this thing. So I'm just like, all right, what else can you like? I liked for that one brief second where they're like, hey, we were partying and got lost in Vegas. It's like, how do we keep that? Now they're just at odds again at each other. But
we go to the main segment, the contract signing with the 4 people in the main event. Trick says, I whoop Trick, so let's talk about it. And Ethan Page admires that Trick, doesn't even care that it's a 4-way. He's like, that's pretty cool. You don't even care it's a 4-way, and you don't even care that you don't even have to be pinned for you to lose that title. And Trick says, look, I have less experience than anyone holding that title, but I'm going to add one more win to my resume. Spears interrupts and tells him he loves his emotion, as it's that emotion that will bring him the championship at Heatwave, and his arm will be raised again in Toronto. And Shawn calls Javon a 20-year-old kid, which pisses off Javon. And he says, everyone's been making that joke since day one. And Spears says, look, kid, you remind me of the sports team that makes it to the World Series, the Super Bowl, the championships, but doesn't have a shot at winning the big one. Javon goes, yeah, I'm nervous, but I'm excited. And everyone's going to know that that boy is bouncy. And Javon's doing a lot of the stuff where he's setting up the crowd to kind of join in his catchphrases.
I'd say he was pretty good at that.
Yeah, I thought he sounded good.
I'll say it right now. He sounded better than everyone else in this promo.
Agree.
And he's 21, something like that. I guess that was designed to make him stand out, but he was flashier than Ethan Page and Shawn Spears and Trick in this promo.
He said, since we're talking about experience, how about you tell everyone how much experience you have holding the NXT championship? Oof. And Shawn Spears didn't look happy about that. Trick says he likes Javon, but no one is going to take this title away from him. And they all start explaining, well, we don't need to pin you. I can pin you and I'll win the match. And
blah, blah, blah. Four ways.
And Spears calls Javon 20 again, and they all brawl, and it ends with Page and Spears both going through the tables as NXT goes off the air.
Canadians going through the tables.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I kind of said it, but I thought Javon was the one that stood out in this more than either of the heels. I thought they actually sounded pretty mundane and just kind of like, we're going to beat you for the title. And I was screwed. It's like, okay. And then Javon was like the one who even gave Trick like a run funny with the way he was talking and had the crowd in palm hands. Now we've been to a few of these. We've been to the NXT takeovers in the past, but the NXT Stand and Deliver, and I'd say the Toronto Takeover 2 felt a lot of like the WWE people who buy the group pass, the combo tickets, and then just go to NXT, and then they don't know anything that's going on. I feel like that hopefully doesn't happen for Javon Evans, because when you watch him on this show, this crowd is like so behind him, whereas some people who are just there are kind of like, I don't know who this guy is, but he is coming
you could definitely give him some big hope spots to get the crowd into it.
But I think he'll impress. I mean, this guy's first PLE ever, and he's in the main event, and like there's going to be a lot of people there at this arena. So I thought he was the one that stands out. And if this guy's 21 years old, I think WWE 20. That's insane.
Shawn Spears told us 5 times.
I'm surprised he didn't. 2 10s.
Yeah, exactly. Easy.
That's crazy. This guy already has impressed me with his wrestling, and like honestly is leagues above half the roster, if not one of the top guys in ring. But now I think he's also good on the mic. He's got multiple catchphrases that are already getting over. He's got like the
young OG.
Yeah, the machismo in him. That's like, I don't know. He looked the part too with the Death Row Records jacket. So this guy is my new like favorite every week on NXT. And now I think his mic skills have even improved. So I'm not saying Javon Evans is walking out champion, but like I think my stock in Ethan Page since the match he had, it's really dropped. He hasn't really
done nothing since.
He hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
He hasn't said anything very interesting or exciting. And look, we love Ethan Page, but I don't want to say it's been a bust, but it's pretty boring.
I kind of feel he needs to win this match.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And I think you have I think you can have Trick not getting pinned to lose this thing. And I think I'd go with Page for this just to give him a bit of momentum because he's good and I think he needs that. But you have him lose the second title match in a row.
Yeah. Yeah. So not I'd say it was a good segment for Javon, but I was a little let down with even Shawn Spears. Last week I said like having him in the main event for this, I get it. He's a Toronto guy. He's been around the block. He's got some street cred in NXT and AEWs and everywhere. But having him in the main event for this is really just not a game-changing move for them.
It makes it less than.
Yeah, it makes it a very bad. And bless him, we love him, but like, nah, man, like that is a definite step down, especially in even some of the recent stuff that they've been trying and doing some good. And I think it's just just a big drop in interest. And I know we're not alone. A lot of people are thinking the same. And I hope it's a good match. I think it could be a good match, especially with having them as the bases for Javon and flying around and stuff. But even here, like rocking last week, he looked like the genie. He still looks like Will Smith's genie to me. He's rocking the Don Johnson all white. But I like imagine this guy wins. That would just be like the absolute worst for NXT. But I didn't like this episode. I'm not that excited for Heatwave. There's a few matches on there that we kind of breezed by, but this episode wasn't the one that got me excited for this PL.
No, we did have the video packages for some of the matches, but I think I could have done with some more in-ring segments to promote the matches because on paper, I think some of this does look quite good on Sunday, but this show didn't excite me about it.
Yeah.
I think the best thing about this show was probably the opening street fight, which doesn't have any presence on Sunday's show.
Yeah.
But going through the card, we've got the kickoff match, Carmen Petrovic and Ariana Grace versus JC Jane and Jasmine Nix. I think you just go with the Toronto girls and, we start a bit of the odd couple with them.
Right. Right.
What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Ariana Grace is like the baby face version of herself now. So
Roxanne Perez versus Lola Vice.
Yeah, we discussed early, like, is it too early for Lola Vice to win this? Obviously, the story going, I think as much as the momentum, as much as she was very emotional in her promo, I don't know if it's quite the time. And I think there's more juice having Roxanne stick around NXT for a while as champion that maybe we do go to a Julia or another Jordan Grace rematch or something where her as champion. I'm not saying Lola won't be champion within this year, but I'll be rooting for Lola, but I just don't think it's time yet.
I agree. I'd go for Roxanne. This is one of the matches I'm looking forward to on this show.
Yeah.
I think Roxanne has a pretty good track record on these PLEs of good matches. And Lola Vice has been exciting, and she's been on the come up.
Yeah, both were in the matches. Yeah, especially the last show.
Maybe the match I'm looking forward to the most, Obafemi versus Wes Lee in a last chance match for Wesley. If he loses the match, he can never challenge as long as Femi is champion.
Yeah, so Oba, pretty new and green here, but he's got this streak where he's been undefeated and now is this title holder, which Wes never really lost it because of the injury, so it makes a good story there. But Oba, we've only really seen him in these multi-man, so he's only got one ragdoll here of Wes, so I'm sure we're going to see some pretty insane feats of strength and agility from Wes there. But yeah, strength from Oba, agility from Wes. I'm sure this will be maybe the match of the show.
I go for Oba winning this. I think Wes needs to get out of this scene.
Yeah.
I could see if you are putting the title on Ethan Page, if it's not here, but soon, Wes Lee chasing Ethan Page in the main event, I think makes a whole lot of sense.
Absolutely. Wes needs to be the like NXT poster boy.
And I think Page is always best when he's throwing around a smaller guy. Like his matches with Darby are always his standout ones to me.
It's just like, does Oba just crush him though? Like, right? He's eventually going to be your NXT champion.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, I don't know. But Wes should be like NXT champ in a few months. But this match should be my favorite. I'm going to say Oba Femi retains as well.
Excuse me. Sorry. We've then got Kalani Jordan versus Sol Ruka. I'm looking forward to this one as well. I think they're two people who keep on improving each match and impress all the time. And both have very similar styles, little innovative gymnastics, kind of flippy stuff. I think this could be pretty good.
Yeah, I see Kalani retaining. I think it's too soon to maybe drop it. And maybe, this is a shot in the dark, but maybe there is some sort of heel tendencies that costs Sol Ruka here, because Sol has been on a run and we kind of expected her to win that match. And I still think there's something there for her. Maybe she's the next challenger for Roxanne. I'm not quite sure, but I think Kalani retains.
Fraser and Axiom versus Chase U.
Yeah, we mentioned Ridge Holland maybe getting involved, which might cost Chase U. You're under the assumption it ends up helping them win.
Well, I think we're going to have Fraser and Axiom eventually feud again.
Yeah.
And therefore you need them to lose the titles, and you need Axiom to be like, I could see Ridge somehow helping them cheat to win, and Axiom being like, look, if you were paying attention, you'd have known Ridge was up to this stuff. Right. Something like that. I don't know. I think the tag division has been lacking for a long time now in NXT. Something that used to be one of its calling cards. They brought it up, DIY, the Revival in Toronto. Like this, Fraser and Axiom are fantastic. And I like Chase U, but I feel we've had Chase U for 3 years now. It maybe 2, but it feels like it's been a long time. So they don't feel like it would be a hot win for them either. So this is definitely lower on my interest levels.
Yeah, it's like you already screwed up with them, then you gave them the titles, and then they took the titles away. It's like, we've already done that story with you guys. So I don't know. This could be a sleeper hit too, because that usually happens with Duke and Andre. They actually step up, and Fraser and Axiom are definitely the team to do that too. But I think a tag title change as well. Chase U all day.
And then the main event, Trick Williams, Javon Evans, Ethan Page, Sean Spears.
Sean Spears all the way. The perfect 10. I see Trick Williams retaining this.
I think I think it's between Trick and Page.
Yeah, Ethan Page should actually win it, even though I kind of mentioned it feels a little cold. That's the way to heat up something.
I think Trick losing, he'll still be incredibly popular.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Ethan Page needs to do something.
Yeah.
Even Spears, at the end of the day, it is Sean Spears, but they haven't built him up well to this match.
How did he even get
in this match? He's
lost
majority of his feuds so far to justify it. If at least when he came in, he was winning his matches, it would at least make a bit more sense. So I kind of think Page needs it here.
Yeah, just having, I don't even want to watch Sean Spears on normal TV. Now I have to sit and actually in the main event of the title match. It's pretty not impressive, but I'm going to say Ethan Page here. Sorry, Trick, but maybe Trick, can go up to the main roster at this point too. But also a rematch one-on-one between Trick and Ethan Page with Trick chasing could maybe change a dynamic there as well. But yeah, Hamilton's own winning in Toronto. Yeah. Ethan Page.
Do you want to do feedback now, or do you want to do Money in the Bank?
Let's read some quick feedback. I think there was only 1 or 2 there, and then we'll chat about some Money in the Bank. But join the Facebook page if you haven't already. As we mentioned, we'll read your feedback here. And I see one from Fire Frank, who writes in, enjoyed the street fight opener. Michin and Parker beat each other up and down the ring and ringside area. A stiff, hard-hitting fight, and Parker got a needed big win. Hank and Tank had a nice showing against New Catch Republic. Lola caught me off guard with that emotional promo. The face turn is taking well. DJ Eddie Thorpe is back. I guess they already gave up that new edge they were trying to convey. Love that video package with Oba and Wes, one of my highlights of the night. Oba is so good on the mic. Once he gets more in the ring experience, he's going to be a major player for years to come. Looking forward to that match. The Kalani package, again, having her come off more of a heelish vibe once again, as Braden has pointed out recently. Her and Soul should tear it up Sunday in the 6. And sorry, someone messaged me and it blocked it. Her and Soul should tear it up Sunday in the 6. Evans held his own on the mic in the closing segment, and hoping to see that singles match with Trick soon. He's another potential megastar on the rise. Yeah, thank you, Frank, for writing in. Sad we won't be seeing you this Sunday, but we'll see you soon. Some good points. Like, yeah, if Trick retains, then you go to Javon versus Trick, and he could potentially be the youngest champion beating Trick. I don't see him winning here, but he will be my most interest going into this show.
I see Javon as being the one to take Oba down.
Out
down the line.
Okay.
I think you want someone like young.
Really?
I could see that happen.
I mean, again, after just seeing him now, I'm like, man, you're 20.
But whether you take it you've put him in this main event picture, why take him out?
Yeah.
And we have Magan, who says the street fight made it hard for the rest of the show to follow. Mia's New Jack homage was A+. It was a productive, no-nonsense go-home episode. Javon Evans didn't look like a boy amongst men in the closing segment. It's been years since a talent like him walked in the door and shot to the top like a bottle rocket. The Jensen angle, as uncomfortable as it was, looks like it's getting a payoff.
Yes. We'll hope we get to see more of Brooks Jensen, because I guess they're going to keep the name. He was using, Ben Buchanan?
Yeah.
A little bit there. I was wondering if they switched that up or not. But B2, Brooks Jensen, coming soon. The wild card. Odd man out. I'm trying to think. He's got to come up with some Hangman-esque character name that I'm sure he's working on. But love me some Brooks Jensen. We got Brooks Jensen, the cowboy. We got the DJ Eddie Thorpe. Who's a better DJ, though, after watching Okada DJ the other night? Him doing the thing was pretty funny, so I think he's the better one. Should we do some Money in the Bank?
Yes.
Money in the Bank this Saturday in the 6th. We got some big matches. Let's go through some predictions and preview this. We got Sami Zayn putting his Intercontinental title on the line against Braun Breaker. I think Braun Breaker should just destroy Sami Zayn. I'm hoping this is a great match. I know Braun's new to the game, but somewhat of a little dream match here, considering Braun's been spearing people out of their damn boots. And I think these two could put on something pretty fun, but I think Braun is taking the title from him.
Yeah, I'm actually quite excited for this one. I think they've done such a great job on Braun Breaker's call up, and he's someone I genuinely really like and see big things for. Do you see it being a kind of, Brock and Cena where it's a quick squash, or do you see them having a significant match?
I mean, this is the arena where Goldberg famously squashed Brock Lesnar. You could have him kind of do the similar thing, but selfishly, I want to see a good match.
I think they're capable of a good match. It's whether you want to do something shocking almost and just have him run through Sammy.
Yeah, either way, I think
because you could think the Goldberg run. It was he wins the US title first, and then was it the US or the TV title or whatever it was, and then wins the big one.
Right.
I could see them doing something like that.
I know Johnny Knoxville's in town for Sami Zayn's comedy thing. Maybe he could help cost him the match because they still got beef. But
I think we're both saying Braun.
Yeah.
You need Sammy freed up to help.
Exactly. The bloodline, of course. We have the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Io Sky, Chelsea, Lyra, Tiffany, Naomi, and Zoe in this one.
Yeah. I would say Tiffany, but they've gone quite cold on her since the Instagram incident.
Okay.
It definitely feels they've scaled back on her TV.
Was this some video she posted? What was this like?
It was someone had tagged a video of Tiffany hitting Jade Cargill.
Right.
But dubbed, it said black bitch.
Okay.
Over the top.
Oh, right.
You kind of got the impression Tiffany maybe didn't know what she was reposting and just reposted it, but it wasn't a good look.
Yeah.
And she's definitely been scaled back since then. She would be the one out of this lot I'd go for, whether you just want to do Chelsea Green being the Canadian and do something quick with it. But I think Tiffany's the more of a, although you could do Naomi because she's got the friendship with Bailey. And then it's you're teasing maybe that.
Yeah, Tiffany would make the most sense with her, just because ever since stepping up, she's become such a big star for them in the short while she's been on the main roster. I think so far success. There's no debating that she will be champion soon in WWE. And I mean, she's a heel, so having a heel use the briefcase to cash in kind of makes a lot more sense rather than a Naomi. But Chelsea Green is someone who's reminds you of the old days. I don't want to compare it to when everyone thought Cody was going to win and then it was Sandow.
Yeah.
But it's everyone kind of has this like same endearing vibe with Chelsea where who knows, in 6 months she could be hot enough where you do want her to be the champion, right? So maybe that is potential there, but I'm going to go with Tiffany still.
All right.
Yeah. We got the Money in the Bank men's ladder match. Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, Chad Gable, LA Knight, and Drew McIntyre. Andrade's in this match, huh? Wow. Wow. He's not winning it, but he's in this match. This one's everyone's seeming to think it's Jey Uso. And I mean, he's on the cover of the poster with Yeet in the Bank. Wow, that was a very clever one that he came up with there. I don't think it's happening with him though.
No, I think it's Drew. I think Seth beats Priest, and then Drew cashes in on Seth. And then you've got Drew versus Punk for the title at SummerSlam.
See, I was under that assumption for months. We were discussing, like, if Drew's in the ladder match because he gets screwed. We were discussing this before he even got screwed by Punk, which he did get screwed by Punk. And then you have him win here, and then he tries to cash in and he gets the title, and he can be a hypocrite, and then it could be Punk and Drew for the belt.
Like, I think you could open the show with this match, and then you have the men's title match later in the show. I see Drew leaving Toronto as the champion.
Or someone is really upset at Drew for wearing that bracelet everywhere, and AJ Lee shows up to shove him off. WWE Today posted, hey, don't you love ladder matches? Check out this great spot where AJ Lee dumped someone off a ladder, and it's like, oh, wait a second. Or is this them throwing you off?
Yeah, that was, she dumps
Cena? Ziggler? Fuck.
Isn't it the three-way? Is it Kane, Cena, and Punk?
Oh,
I feel like
she does something like that.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
So that could happen where like
yeah.
she makes her big triumphant return, but I don't know if that would, because he beat up Punk, that she wants to get the bracelet and stuff like that. That could be a way to bring her back into WWE, but the story would be Drew cashing in and winning it and being champion, and he is the hottest thing for WWE right now. Minus that shirt, I don't think that was great of a shirt.
DM Hunk,
yeah. Hopefully that he moves away from that one. Keep doing new ones. Get Hank and Tank's guy.
Yeah.
Get new shirts every week.
Not the AEW.
Yeah,
guys.
I really think that Drew should win Money in the Bank, and then on top of that, to add to that, should cash in and win the title. So I think that I don't really know who wins, whether it's Priest retains against Seth or Seth wins, but Drew should.
Actually, it works kind of nice with Priest retaining and then being cashed in on, because it's the person who cashed in on him.
Right. Yeah.
And it makes Priest look a little stronger in a way.
Or he
he
injects himself in to the triple threat.
Yeah.
Seth way.
Yeah.
Like how Seth did it in the past. But yeah,
I see an immediate cash in on the show.
I hope so. Yeah. I think that would be the most exciting, interesting way. And then I forgot there was the 6-man tag team match, the Bloodline, Jacob Fatu making his debut with Tongaloa, Tamalonga, and any of these three versus Cody, Randy, and Kevin. I think we get Jacob Fatu pinning Cody Rhodes. Would that be too crazy? Would that be too wild?
I think it would be Solo pinning Cody.
Okay.
And potentially setting him up a match with those two
for SummerSlam.
I don't think, as much as I like Jacob Fatu, I don't think they're positioning him as the main guy of this group.
Right.
I think Solo is definitely that guy. And do you have any Roman return yet? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think just yet. I don't know if we get some sort of big returns, whether it's, like we said, CM Punk and AJ Lee, maybe a Roman Reigns, something. John Cena. He showed up last year for no reason. Maybe he shows up for no. Maybe we get Homelander. The show is sponsored by the boys. True. Cody finally today doing the first ever crossover with a video saying, "Hey Homelander, what's up?" And then he shoots lasers out. That sounded like it. Hey, come on over to the show. So the dude who plays Homelander,
yeah, he said in an interview recently, like his AEW character that he was trying to do.
Yeah,
like obviously he dresses like Homelander, obviously.
Yeah,
but he was saying, I wanted to be the delusional babyface. Yeah. Well, I'm a heel, but I think I'm a babyface kind of thing. Yeah. Which we're wrestling fans, we're not that smart.
Yeah, I mean, we were all saying it at the time, like you're just a heel.
Yeah,
I do want a boys / Cody Rhodes crossover with my Homelander, but yeah, my interest for Money in the Bank, like there's a few matches there, but I'd say Sammy Braun is like the big highlight. But I do hope they do something with the Drew. I just hope if Drew's champion versus Punk, I hope they don't make the same mistake that AEW made
And what, strapping Punk?
Giving Punk the title while he's injured. Yeah. Anyways, so there you go. That's Money in the Bank. That's our predictions for that show. It's all going down this weekend in Toronto. We hope to see everyone there. Money in the Bank, Heatwave, Saturday and Sunday, but the real main event, the cash-in at Wide Open in Toronto, 2 p.m. Follow all the socials at Post Wrestling, at Poisonrana Pod. Check out all the stuff we'll be posting. We'll see you guys there. I can't wait to see you there. We'll have some drinks. We'll have some shots. The Espresso Martini.
Espresso Martini. It's a mouthful.
The Espresso Solo. Yeah, anyways.
Espresso.
And the Bloodline Caesar.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. And the Blue Thunder Bomb. So
yes.
There you go. And maybe the Brooks Jensen. It's just a water. We hope to see you guys and everyone out there. We love and appreciate you. Follow the socials. Check out all the shows. We will be live after Heatwave. We'll chat about everything with Siino. And check out our patreon.com/Poisonrana. $5 to become a friend. And I think that's it. That's all. So take care. Goodbye. Be safe. And we'll see you in the 6.
Ahoy!
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you could never really know what's up next.